I'm Lexie Divers with The Truth 365. In a few days, we have a new film coming out, hosted by Lisa Ling, that talks about the growing childhood cancer movement. While Lisa is a famous reporter, and I'm just a 6th grader, we have something important in common. We each have lost someone very special to us because of childhood cancer. I lost my sister, Alyssa, to osteosarcoma. She lost her cousin, Allie, to liver cancer. Lisa has been a journalist for CNN, National Geographic, and the Oprah Winfrey Network. She was even a host on The View. When she was starting out at Channel 1 News, she told her cousin the story. Here's a summary of Lisa's special report from 1996 called Allie.
Hi, my name is Lisa Ling, and I'm a reporter for Channel 1 News, which is a news program that's seen in about 12,000 secondary schools across the United States. And for Channel 1, I've covered everything from war zones to various heads of state, but the most difficult story I've ever worked on is the one you're about to see. This is a story about life. I'd like you to meet my cousin Allie. I was 9 years old when she was born. She had such big brown eyes, and I used to envy her because she was so beautiful, but it didn't take long for me to fall in love with her. Allie loves hockey, and she has 2 brothers, JT and Mike, who are also hockey fanatics and occasionally little brats. They live with their parents, my Uncle Jack and Aunt Anna, in a big house in Massachusetts, and they always had the best Christmases. Then, on Christmas Eve in 1994, I found out that my 12-year-old cousin Allie had been diagnosed with liver cancer. I didn't get a chance to see Allie until 3 months after she had been diagnosed. All right, let's go see Allie. And after talking to her on the phone every day since, I was excited to see her. There's a little Baldy.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Oh, yay! She told me about how in the beginning, she just knew something wasn't right.
Well, the first month or 2 was really hard for me because as soon as I got in, my stomach was really distended. It was huge. And, it scared me because I wasn't going to tell anybody. Finally, I told my mom, I said, my stomach's really big. There's probably something wrong. And so she said, oh, okay. So we went into the doctor's. My mom and I were planning on going shopping right afterwards. It was just like 2 or 3 days before Christmas. It was almost vacation, so I figured, this doesn't matter so much. We can just go out shopping for a day. It ended up that we went into ER and we did 3 days of testing in one day because they were so worried. And I ended up staying there in that hospital for 21 or 24 days. So, needless to say, we didn't get to go shopping that day.
What was that like? If someone told you had cancer.
They didn't right away. They said I had a tumor. And I thought, oh, okay, we can cut it out. Because, a lot of people, they really just don't know about cancer, and I didn't at all. That fish is mine.
The chemo had caused Allie to lose all of the hair on her body, except for some eyebrows. I asked her what it was like when she first started losing her hair.
When I first started, I had so much of it that I was going, oh, hey, Mom, look at this. I don't know, I was just kind of playing with it because I figured I can't lose it all because I had just so much. But after a while, I was saying, Mom, can I have some Scotch tape? I kind of want it back, I was trying to think of anything to kind of make me feel better about it. It was all happening so fast. And I didn't really know what was going on because I was too traumatized with losing all my hair. I want to keep a baseball hat on because when I have a hat on, it almost looks like it's normal. Finally, it got to the point where I looked so sick because it was just like a little bit here and a little bit there that I finally got myself to shave it off.
Now, you would think that a 13-year-old girl who lost all of her hair would be really insecure and immediately try to get a wig to cover up the fact that she was bald. Well, that's exactly what Allie thought she wanted to do, too. Her parents spent about $300 to have a wig made for her. It wasn't that convincing a wig, but it was something.
If someone didn't know that that's a wig,
They just think I had
They couldn't
incredibly
tell.
bad hair.
The only thing is, I mean, it's a little thick on top.
It's huge. It looks like a dead animal.
Allie decided that if she was the one who had to live with being bald, what other people thought didn't matter. But that sometimes caused confusion.
One time at the clinic, this mother said, "Now, honey, I know you want to play with the little boy over there."
She did? Get her. And I wear lipstick just so people don't think that a little old lady called me a nice young man. When I was
I think it's tough for anyone, but especially for a teenager. I mean, you know what it was like at 13 years old, the vanity a girl will have. You know, you discovered the opposite sex. You're so concerned with what your peers are saying and doing and dressing like. As an adult, I don't know that I could walk through the grocery store bald. And look at her. She's a strong girl.
I notice people staring at her, but I don't think she even notices anymore. And if she does, she just puts it aside. And sometimes I get mad at myself for noticing and getting mad at those people, because if it doesn't bother her, why should it be bothering me? You know?
I know what you mean, because there are times when I've seen people look at her and I want to go, she has cancer. But it's a normal reaction if you see something out of the ordinary to look. I mean, sometimes I might see someone and I try not to make it obvious, but I'll be going and I'll look.
The times that I had visited Allie after she had been diagnosed, even though she had no hair, she looked and felt very strong.
Yes.
But in the beginning, no one thought Allie would make it past the month, because the doctor said the tumor on Allie's liver was the size of a basketball.
I heard people were just astounded by how big it was when they first looked at it.
Yeah, they said they'd only seen things that terrible in books because it affected 100% of my liver.
Now, the liver is the only organ in the body which is able to regenerate itself. A person can have up to 70% of their liver removed and it will eventually grow back. Now, Allie's parents were hoping that the chemotherapy would eradicate enough of the tumor that Allie could have a surgery to have the rest of it removed. The problem was that very, very few people have ever gotten to the point where they could have an operation like that.
Pelvis.
Since chemotherapy is a very potent drug, a person can only have so much injected before the level of toxicity starts to affect other parts of the body. Allie's parents were afraid she had reached her limit anymore, and it could have affected her heart and or her ability to hear. The big question was where to go from there.
What scares me is that she's maxed out on this kind of chemotherapy. We have to decide within the next 2 weeks, is she going to be able to have surgery? If she isn't, do we look at transplant and just wait and hope that the cancer doesn't grow until a new liver comes? Or do we try a different kind of chemotherapy? All chemotherapy is toxic. The kind she has now is affecting her kidneys. The kind they're thinking of giving her affects her heart. You know, there's so many things to think about, but I have to do it one day at a time, because I'm gonna go under the premise that when she has that CAT scan, it's gonna show that the tumors are small enough they can just cut them out. They can cut out one side, and she's gonna be fine. And until they tell me otherwise, that's what I'm gonna go with. You can be maid of honor at her wedding.
The next time I went to visit Allie, she was about to have an ultrasound. Now, the ultrasound was going to reveal how much tumor Allie still had on her liver and whether an operation would be possible. Now, Allie, unlike her parents, did not want to have surgery. She was hoping that the ultrasound would reveal that she had completely gotten rid of all of the tumor. And her parents didn't think that that was going to be possible at all. I knew that this could be a very emotional time for the family, so rather than taking a cameraman, I took a home video camera and shot this myself.
Hi. See the little red light? Well, I have hair now.
Let me see. Wow, that's more hair than you had before the first time I came. It's soft and fuzzy. Come here, let me touch it. It's really soft. So,
Nice.
so you had a good time in New York? Ooh, you do have eyebrows.
And I have eyelashes.
Let me see the eyelashes. Come close. So are you nervous about tomorrow at all?
Oh, just a little.
What are they going to do? What are they going to tell you?
Well, last time you were here, I said, well, this is the deciding point. Yeah, it kind of was, but now is really because Wednesday, which is day after tomorrow, I could go in for surgery. And if I have a clear ultrasound tomorrow, or if there's only a little bit left, I won't need surgery, which is what I'm aiming for.
Allie was absolutely against having surgery because when she was first diagnosed, she had to have a really big operation, one that she remembers very well. Tell me about the first time you had surgery, and that's why you're so insistent
Well, the
upon
first time I
not
had surgery, it was a really, really bad experience. I went in for biopsy. They were going to cut out part of my liver. Well, there wasn't much liver left, so I guess they got more tumor than anything else. But they wanted to open me up, look around, poke around and stuff, and bring the chunk out. And I feel like if I have surgery, I'd be backsliding because I feel like I'm going to have to do it all over again. Only this time with a bigger scar.
Do you still feel like you have cancer right now?
I haven't for months. Everything's gone back to normal, if not better. Oh no. Designer outfit.
Ooh. But love the shoes. Okay, Allie, what are we doing now?
We're about to have an ultrasound.
What's an
What's all this
ultrasound?
wee stuff? Well, they take these little suckers and they put on this really nasty gooey stuff on my stomach, and they spread it around, and it shows them what's inside.
So on this screen right here, you'll be able to see what's inside of you.
Yep.
What do you
It's
think?
not very clear.
What do you think's going to be on the screen?
I don't know. Hopefully no tumor. Tickles so much.
The doctor said that they had detected some abnormalities on Allie's liver, and the only way to remove them was through surgery. Now, the news that Allie could have this operation was great for Allie's parents because that meant that their daughter could possibly be cancer-free. But for Allie, who physically felt great, the news that she had to have this operation was terrible because, as I said before, she just did not want to go through that painful recovery process again. The morning of the surgery, Allie refused to get out of bed. I heard her parents trying to tell her that surgery was her only option. I took the camera and stood outside of her door because I felt it would be inappropriate for me to just walk into her room and start shooting.
This operation is a miracle. Don't you understand? It is all the same miracle, Allie.
It is not.
It is. This will get the cancer out of you. This is the end of the miracle. This is it. You just won the lottery and now you don't want the money. It doesn't make sense. You can't make it work on your own.
We need you to work, to continue to work, to get better after the surgery. Allie, we know of 6 people, 6 kids who've had this disease. The boy on the Cape's dead. Mika's dead. The Cabot boy's dead. It's metastasized in Becky. Allie, I know you're thinking about the pain and the uncomfortableness from last time, but that would be nothing compared to not doing it. Then Allie, please, let's just go do it. Well then, let's go talk to Dr. Jenkins. We have got
Either way,
to go.
we've got to be there at 9
Come on,
o'clock.
let's
If you're
go.
going to talk to him at 9, we have to be there.
Come on.
Allie finally got out of bed and we all headed for the hospital. She rode with her father, and my aunt and I followed in another car. Before we left, Allie told her parents that she was going to tell her surgeon that she would not have the operation.
I've never seen anyone so scared in my entire life. I mean, the look on her face this morning. She knows that it's the only thing to do. But what she's been saying is true. They are going to open her up and like remove a vital organ, part of a vital organ.
That's right. And if they don't remove part of that vital organ, it'll turn completely cancerous. The cancer will spread to her other vital organ, her lungs, and then she'll die a slow, painful, horrible death. And I will not sit by and watch it. If she can wiggle out of a life-saving procedure, and we allow that, we are not fit parents. That is my honest-to-God feeling.
You think she'll do it today?
I don't know.
Allie was determined to get herself out of having to have surgery. She had convinced herself that she didn't need it. And so here she is in the hospital's waiting room with her parents and Dr. Jenkins, a world-renowned liver surgeon.
I'm not afraid of it. I just feel like I don't need it. And that really bothers me. Because I don't want to do something that I don't need, that I'm just going to have to do more healing from. Even if you're not willing to give me a month, 3 weeks, however long you think. Because I'm still convinced that I don't need the surgery and that I can get rid of this. Or at least greatly reduce it.
Allie was so desperate and helpless, and she was fighting so hard. But to her it seemed that no one was listening to her.
Honey, the stakes are too high to gamble, to question. They are.
Well, I'm just not ready for surgery.
Honey,
And there's no way I'd be able to go into that.
you can, honey. You can.
I'm not ready.
Allie, nobody's ever ready. No one is ever ready. I don't think Dr.
At
Jenkins...
least I could be willing to go in. Ready and willing are two different things. And I'm not either. And I realize the dangers. And if I'm willing to try this, I know that if something goes really wrong, I could die. If I'm willing to try this, knowing that, don't you think that's something?
Finally, Allie knew that she wasn't going to be able to get out of having this operation, so she walked in willingly. The operation lasted over 6 hours. When it was over, Dr. Jenkins came in and said the worst year of Allie and her family's lives was over. Allie was all right. I got to see Allie the next morning. The nurses said she was doing well. Her face was all swollen, and as she expected, she had a lot of pain and discomfort. But nevertheless, she had done it.
Ow, ow, ow. That really hurts.
I wasn't able to see Allie for a couple months after, but she had recovered very well from the surgery. As you'll see, she looked incredible. She was back to a normal life, and although she had gotten rid of the cancer, Allie knows that it will never be over.
I mean, it's not over, right?
No, definitely not. I mean, I'm going to have to do something. Because after this, I'm not just going to sit back and ignore it. Because I got this for a reason. And since I learned through this, I'm going to try and share my knowledge. I've learned more about not taking little things so seriously. I've learned how to be more patient toward people, how to accept different people easily, and I've learned about myself. And so I think that
even though I had all the pain and all the fright and all the anxiety and hallucinating, I think that cancer is, somehow the best thing that I've ever gone through or that I've ever experienced, because it's going to make me a much better person later on.
Nearly 2 decades after Allie's death, childhood cancer is still a huge problem. It is the leading cause of death by disease in children. It destroys lives and breaks hearts. Please make sure to watch the True 365, a national movement, and learn how you can join the revolution to help all kids impacted by childhood cancer.